Once upon a time, deep in a beautiful valley surrounded by mountains, there lay a tiny seed. It was smaller than a pebble and lighter than a feather. One windy afternoon, it fell from a tall tree and landed on the hard ground. The tiny seed looked around and sighed. "How will I ever become a tree?" it wondered. "I'm so small, and the world is so big." Days passed. The sun shone brightly above, but the seed remained buried beneath the soil. Then one day, dark clouds gathered in the sky. Rain poured down, soaking the earth around the seed. Instead of feeling happy, the seed became afraid. "What if I drown?" it thought, but the rain did not harm the seed. Instead, it gave the seed the moisture it needed to grow. Soon, the seed felt a small change inside itself. A tiny root began to emerge. Excited, the seed pushed downward into the soil, but suddenly it hit a large rock. The seed became discouraged. "This rock is too big, I'll never get past it." For a moment, the seed thought about giving up, but then it remembered something the old tree had once whispered before it fell. Every great tree was once a small seed that refused to quit. The tiny seed gathered its courage. Instead of trying to move the rock, it carefully grew around it. Slowly, its roots found another path. Weeks passed. The seed continued to grow. One day, it decided to send a tiny shoot upward toward the surface. It pushed and pushed, but the soil above was heavy. Every inch felt impossible. "I can't do this," the seed said. Yet deep inside, a small voice replied, "Just one more push." So the seed pushed again and again and again. Finally, one morning, a tiny green sprout broke through the ground. For the first time, the seed saw the sunlight. It was beautiful. The sprout smiled. "I made it." But the journey was far from over. Soon, strong winds swept across the valley. The little sprout bent from side to side. Nearby flowers laughed. "You're too weak to survive," they said. The sprout felt hurt. Maybe they were right. Maybe it was too weak. But every day, it continued growing. The winds became stronger, but they also made the sprout stronger. Its stem thickened. Its roots dug deeper. Months passed. Summer arrived. The sun became scorching hot. Many plants around the valley began to dry up. The young plant felt thirsty and tired. "There is no way I can survive this," it thought, but its roots had grown deep enough to find water hidden beneath the ground. Once again, the challenge that seemed impossible became the very thing that helped it grow stronger. Years passed. The tiny seed was no longer a sprout. It had become a young tree. Birds rested on its branches. Animals sat in its shade. Travelers admired its beauty. One day, a small seed fell from one of its branches and landed nearby. The little seed looked up at the tall tree and asked, "How did you become so strong?" The tree smiled. "I wasn't always strong. I was once a tiny seed just like you." The little seed was surprised. "But you're huge. You must have had an easy life." The tree gently shook its branches. "No. I faced rocks, storms, strong winds, and scorching heat. There were many times when I wanted to quit." "Then how did you succeed?" asked the little seed. The tree replied, "I learned a secret." "What secret?" The tree said, "Never focus on how far you still have to go. Just keep growing one day at a time. The rain that scared me helped me grow. The rocks that blocked me taught me new paths. The winds that bent me made me stronger. The heat that challenged me forced my roots to grow deeper. Every obstacle became part of my success." The little seed listened carefully. For the first time, it believed it could become something great. And as the sun set behind the mountains, the tiny seed settled into the soil, ready to begin its own journey. The lesson of the story is simple. No matter how small you are, no matter how many obstacles stand in your way, never give up. Great success does not come from being the strongest or the smartest. It comes from continuing to grow when others would quit. Just like the tiny seed, your challenges may be preparing you for something greater than you can imagine.